Pablo Picasso, you know the name. The man who revolutionized the art world with his innovative and often controversial techniques. The painter, the sculptor, the visionary who saw the world in a way no one else did. The guy who made boxes look like faces. He turned the art world on its head with his cubist masterpieces. He wasn't just an artist, he was an art movement, a force of nature that swept through the 20th century, leaving an indelible mark on everything he touched. And like any good art movement, he needed a muse, someone who could inspire him, challenge him, and push him to new heights. Enter Dora Maar, a woman with a gaze that could pierce a canvas and a spirit that could handle Picasso's, let's call it, artistic temperament. She was more than just a muse. She was a force in her own right. She wasn't just another pretty face. Dora was a talented photographer and a surrealist artist in her own right, with a unique vision that complemented Picasso's. Dora was a talented photographer and a surrealist artist in her own right. Her work was groundbreaking, pushing the boundaries of what photography and surrealism could be. But history remembers her as Picasso's muse, a title that, while not inaccurate, doesn't do justice to her own artistic achievements. It's like saying Beyoncé is Jay-Z's backup singer. It's a reduction of her talent and influence. Their relationship was a passionate, tumultuous, and often downright messy affair, a whirlwind of creativity and conflict that fueled both of their artistic endeavors. Think Romeo and Juliet, but with more paint and fewer poison apples. Their love story was dramatic, intense, and ultimately tragic. It was a relationship that produced some of Picasso's most iconic works and left Dora both immortalized and overshadowed. This is their story. A tale of love, art, and the chaos that comes when two creative forces collide. Picture Paris in the 1930s, intellectuals, artists, and revolutionaries sipping espresso in smoky cafes. It's where Picasso, already a titan, meets Dora. She's beautiful, intelligent, and fluent in Spanish, which probably impressed Picasso more than any artistic talent. The story goes they met in a cafe. Picasso, instantly smitten, asked her to stab a knife between her fingers on a table. He kept the blood-stained gloves because romance? Who knows with Picasso? Dora was quickly absorbed into Picasso's world, becoming his lover, his muse, and some might say his artistic punching bag. Their relationship was a whirlwind of intense emotions, intellectual sparring, and artistic collaboration, but beneath the surface, darkness lurked. Picasso was obsessed with Dora. He painted her over and over, but rarely as she was. Sometimes she was a weeping woman, other times a bird, sometimes a combination of the two. One could argue that Picasso used his art to explore the complexities of their relationship, but let's be real. He wasn't exactly painting her good side. It was more like emotional cubism, where he dissected her and reassembled her on canvas in ways that were more Picasso than Dora. He wasn't just painting her, he was processing their relationship, his own demons, and maybe even his lunch, all through the prism of Dora Maar. Being Picasso's muse sounds glamorous, right? Wrong. Imagine being known primarily as the inspiration for someone else's genius. It's like being the guitar pick Jimi Hendrix used for Purple Haze. Important but overshadowed, Dora was a talented artist in her own right. Her photography was groundbreaking, her surrealist works were powerful. But her own artistic voice was often drowned out by Picasso's booming baritone. She wasn't just posing for portraits. She was in the trenches with Picasso, collaborating, challenging him, even teaching him photographic techniques. But history, as always, loves a simplified narrative, and that narrative often leaves little room for the complex, independent woman behind the muse. Section 5. The Guernica woman, politics and personal traumas intertwined. The Spanish Civil War was raging. Picasso, a Spaniard himself, was horrified. He channeled his anger, his fear, and probably some repressed feelings about his relationship into a painting that would become a symbol of anti-war sentiment, Guernica. And who was there, documenting the creation of this masterpiece? Dora Maar. She wasn't just Picasso's lover, she was his confidant, his collaborator, and his photographic chronicler. Their relationship wasn't all paint fumes and tortured gazes. There were moments of genuine connection, intellectual stimulation, and shared passion. But even those moments were often overshadowed by Picasso's volatile personality and the tumultuous world they lived in. Section 6. A surreal love triangle, Dora, Marie-Thérèse, and Pablo's games. If you thought Picasso's love life was simple, you haven't been paying attention. While he was with Dora, he was also involved with Marie-Thérèse Walter, his former muse and mother of his child. Because one muse is never enough, apparently. Picasso wasn't exactly discreet about juggling his lovers. He even painted them both in the same paintings sometimes. You can imagine the dinner conversations. This wasn't a love triangle, it was a love Picasso. He was at the center, and the women in his life were often forced to orbit around him, their own needs and desires taking a back seat to his artistic whims. Section 7, the breakup from muse to myth. All good, and by good we mean chaotic and emotionally draining, things must come to an end. Picasso and Dora Maar's relationship was no exception. After nearly a decade of intense passion, creativity and turmoil, Picasso and Maar's relationship imploded under the weight of its own intensity. The details are murky, but it probably involved some combination of Picasso's infidelity, his controlling nature, and Dora's realization that dating a walking, talking artistic revolution wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Picasso's numerous affairs and domineering personality clashed with Dora's need for emotional stability and respect. The breakup was predictably messy. Emotions ran high, and the fallout was as dramatic as their relationship had been. Picasso didn't do clean breaks. He was a man who thrived on chaos and complexity, and his personal life was no different. He moved on to another muse, because of course he did, almost immediately, as if to fill the void left by Dora, but he continued to paint Dora, often as a weeping, tormented figure. His art seemed to capture the emotional turmoil that lingered long after their relationship ended. It's almost like he couldn't let go, or maybe he just enjoyed the last word. Through his paintings, Dora Maar was immortalized, forever a muse, forever a myth, in the annals of art history. Section 8. Post-Picasso, Maar's later life and career. After her tumultuous relationship with Picasso ended, Dora Maar retreated from the public eye. The pain and emotional turmoil inflicted by Picasso led her to seek solace in her faith and undergo psychoanalysis. She continued to create art, but her style shifted dramatically. Gone were the surrealist experiments and photographic explorations of her younger years. Her later works were more introspective, marked by a sense of melancholy and a search for spiritual meaning. Despite her artistic talent and significant contributions to the surrealist movement, Maar's legacy remained intertwined with Picasso's. Her own artistic achievements were often overshadowed by her association with the legendary artist. Section 9. The complicated legacy of a muse. Dora Maar's story is a cautionary tale about the complexities of love, art, and the price of being associated with genius. Born Henriette Theodora Markovich, she was a talented photographer and painter in her own right, yet her legacy is often overshadowed by her relationship with Pablo Picasso. She was more than just a muse, she was an artist, an intellectual, and a woman who deserved to be remembered for her own accomplishments. Her surrealist photography and paintings were groundbreaking, and she was an active participant in the vibrant Parisian art scene of the 1930s and 1940s. But her relationship with Picasso, while undoubtedly enriching her life in some ways, also came at a cost. Picasso's domineering personality and the intense emotional strain of their relationship took a toll on her mental health. It's easy to romanticize their connection, but the reality was likely far less glamorous. Dora Maar's own artistic voice was often stifled by Picasso's overwhelming presence, and she struggled to find her own identity amidst his shadow. It's a reminder that behind every great man, or in this case a complicated and often frustrating man, there are often even greater women who are overlooked, underestimated, and ultimately forgotten. Dora Maar's legacy is a testament to the resilience and strength of women artists who continue to fight for recognition in a world that often seeks to diminish their contributions. Section 10. Conclusion, love, art, and the enduring enigma of Picasso and Maar. The story of Picasso and Maar is a tangled web of passion, pain, and artistic brilliance. It's a reminder that even the most celebrated geniuses are flawed individuals, capable of great love and great cruelty. And it's a testament to the enduring power of art. which can capture the complexities of human relationships in all their messy, heartbreaking, and sometimes darkly humorous glory. We may never know the full truth about their relationship, but through their art we catch glimpses of their love, their struggles, and the indelible mark they left on each other and the world.